And welcome back. We continue our conversation with Green Bay Mayor Jim Schmitt. Dark time in your time in office was when you pled guilty to violating campaign finance laws. You survived an effort by City Council to remove you. Did that have any impact on your ability to deal with council after that happened?
Well, that was tough, and that was working on my campaign finance at home at the kitchen table, nothing to do with the city, but nonetheless, my responsibility. That was a difficult time, and they were misdemeanors, and it was, look, I said I was sorry, pled guilty to it, I wanted to move on. I called the city council people after they took their vote and said, look, and the vote wasn't successful to remove me, let's move on, we got to work for the city, and we did. But easier said than done. That was a tough time for me. I'm not going to deny that.
And that did not have any bearing on your decision now to leave office.
Oh no. People have been great about that. So many people said, look, you live long enough, you do enough things, you're going to make a couple mistakes.
And,
yes. No.
As you well know, in your time in office, you've had a lot of political opponents, as is to be expected, 16 years as a mayor of any city. Looking back, anything that you would have done, could have done, should have done to improve those relationships?
Well, I'm one of those guys that's like, I'm not a kind of a shoulda, woulda, coulda guy. What I did, I did. And I think I've learned from what I've done. I do think there's people in politics for the wrong reason. I think there's some people with hidden agendas, or people that are in there because it's all it's their identity, and that's not good. I mean, there's others of us who really truly want to make the community better and work for the community. So the relationships that I have in politics, I enjoy. The ones that are severed or aren't real good, I'm okay with that, because we're just two different people. So no, politics is a tough business. It is. Let's not kid ourselves. I mean, people can say one thing looking at you, and then you hear something else. It's like, what? So I don't know. I like the way I've operated, and people have different styles of management. Mine's I'm pretty passionate, and I like people. I try to share my vision with them. If they share that with me, I think that's a good thing. If they don't, I'd like to know why, and really have an honest debate about it. But if it's something that, I don't know, they don't like Jim Schmitt, or it wasn't their idea, so they don't like it, I can't deal with that. So, no, I'm good.
Either Patrick Buckley or Eric Genrich will be the next mayor.
Right.
When they walk into that office on the first day, there's a letter on the desk from former Mayor Jim Schmitt. What does that letter say to the new mayor?
Well, I've met with both of them, and I told them that, and I do plan on doing something like that. I think transition's important, and I'm not sure I had the best transition with my predecessor, but I'm not sure he had the best transition with his predecessor. So I would like to be the mayor that started just a very easy transition. So they've both been in. I asked them if they win, what color the office they want painted, where they want the furniture. I want to get that all done for them, and I want to be as supportive as I can. It's a great city. It's a great opportunity for them, and I'm going to do whatever I can to make the city better. If they want to talk to me and have lunch once a month, that's great. If they never want to see me again, I mean, I'm still going to be here, but I want to be a very supportive mayor. I mean, it was my decision to leave office, and but I'm not leaving Green Bay. I want to help the community grow, and if I can do that by helping the new mayor, I will. And if they have other resources, other people to go to, I'm fine with that as well.
So regardless of who wins, you are available to either man.
I've met with both of them, and they know that.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're back with more with Mayor Jim Schmitt after this. Please stay with us.